I wanted to show you how pretty my homegrown, home-canned carrots are. I am very proud of those. These are my first ones I've ever canned. And I got 4 pints. And I'm so excited. Hey guys, Brandy here. Welcome to my kitchen. Welcome to the channel Sewing Back. Today, we're going to take the carrots that I harvested out of my garden and we are going to pressure can them in my Nesco canner. If you do not want to use a electric smart canner, you do not have to. You can use a stovetop one. Everything would follow. You would just follow the procedure on a stovetop versus what I'm going to do in my Nesco canner. So, I am following this is page 63 in the Ball Blue Canning book. This one is from the 1990s. It's an old one. My husband found it a long time ago at Goodwill, and it has recipes in it that some of my other ones don't have, and so I like having it. So they don't always follow year to year. They do change things out. So I'm going to be doing the raw pack method for carrots, and it says you need to cut your carrots to 1 to 1.5 inch. Now, I have tried to do that, but some of my carrots are little. They're different sizes, so I just kind of did the best that I could. I tried to keep it kind of even. So what you're going to do is, I've already peeled all of my carrots. So for canning purposes, it recommends that you peel your carrots. If I were just cooking, I would have just washed them and cooked them. I wouldn't have had a problem with that. But because I am canning these for storage, I am following what the rule said. And so I did peel all of these. And I washed them several times before I peeled them. I've washed them after. I've got them, you can slice or dice. Some people leave them whole. I just sliced. You're going to pack your carrots tightly into hot jars. I just washed my jars, so they're warm, and you're supposed to leave 1 inch of head space. You're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of salt to each pint, or 1 teaspoon of salt to a quart. I'm going to be doing pints. I'm hoping to get 4 pints. I can do up to 5. We'll see where we get. Then it says to ladle in some boiling water. I have my tea kettle. I've boiled my water. You're going to remove your air bubbles, making sure you have 1 inch of head space. You can clean the rim, and then you put on new lids and bands, and then you're going to process pints for 25 minutes or quarts for 30 minutes. So this one is just this is a great first recipe to try if you have not pressure canned before, because one, it's a short time and it's super easy. You only need 10 pounds of pressure. Now if you're using a smart canner, for me, that's already done. I don't have to worry about that. If you're using a stovetop canner, you have to know that you need 10 pounds of pressure as you're canning, okay? So let's get to it. My little thing here, my hands are clean. I just washed my hands. And I did have some different colors. However, when I peeled my purple ones, they were orange on the inside. You can see a little bit of purple, but most of it was orange. A couple of them were actually kind of this color. So, who knew? Okay. I may end up having enough for 5 pints. My Nesco canner will hold 5 pints. So, if I do, yippee skippy. I don't know, I think it'd be close. Yeah, I won't have enough for 5. And it does say to try to pack them tightly. So I'll have enough for 4, which is what I thought. I measured with measuring cups, and based off of that, that's how I kind of thought I would have about 4. So, yay! And it's super cool because I grew these. I grew them. That is so cool. Alright, so let's see. Let's see if you can see all 4. And that's about, so you have this little tool here. They look like little stair steps. So if you get to this one and you were to put it, your carrots should not be touching to that spot. And with carrots, you may have to move them around a little bit. But yes, I've got my headspace on all of them, so that's good. I'll recheck as I pour the water over them. Before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and put my 1/2 teaspoon of salt in each jar. And I think you could totally do this without salt. I don't think you have to have the salt. It didn't say that in this recipe, but most of the other ball books or the USDA canning book, you don't have to have salt. It's optional. So I'm assuming that that would be true with this as well if you are someone who watches your sodium. Alright, so now we're going to take our boiling water, and I'm just going to pour it up to that 1 inch of headspace on the jar. And yes, I just used my tea kettle to keep it really easy. Plus it's easy to pour. And this one has a thermostat on it, so it tells me if it's boiled. This is a clean chopstick. This is what I like to use to debubble. Debubble just means you're going to be going around your jar like so. Okay, I feel good about that. I want to get my little vinegar. I always have a small bottle of vinegar that I keep just for wiping lids and stuff. I have my clean towel here. This one won't be as big a deal because this doesn't have, this is a raw pack and all the things, but when you're using anything that has fat or sugar, this is a huge one so that you get a proper seal. These are kind of hot, so you do want to be careful. You did put boiling water into the jar. Alright, so now all we have to do is put on our bands and lids. So let me get, and now your lids, they say nowadays you do not have to put them in boiling, boil them in water or anything. That's how I learned to can. So that's just what I do. I also typically, only thing I know of in the last 2 years I've had that failed, I had 1 can of green beans that did not seal. The rest of my stuff is always sealed, so I just do it anyway. It doesn't hurt it. I feel like it loosens up the glue to get it ready. And then you just want to fingertip tight. And you screw them on. So the most labor-intensive part I did not show you, which was peeling the carrots. That was it. That was the hardest part to do. Forgot to film me adding my 8 cups of water to my canner before putting my jars in. This is an important step, so don't forget it. All right, guys, as you can see, I've got the 000 here. I have it in the closed position. It's locked, okay? It's on exhaust. And what we're going to do now is we're going to hit high, because we're going to pressure can on high, not pressure cook, pressure can. So we're going to do high. And then you put your time in, because these were pints. It's 25 minutes. It is a little deafening. All right. And then all you need to do is you hit start. And it's going to go through this little feed. It can take up to 30 minutes to heat up. And then once it gets to that point, it's going to say E10, and it's going to count down to E0. When it gets to E0, you're going to get a beep, and at that point, you need to put it on airtight, and it does the rest for you. You are not to open this canner for an hour after it is complete. When it is complete, you unplug it, and you leave it alone for an hour. After an hour, you can open it up. Probably your product inside is still going to be hot. I typically let it cool down even longer before I take those items out. I don't want to shock my jars with the environment. I don't want anything to break. And then I will pull it out. I set it to the side. I let it sit 12 to 24 hours. I take off my bands. I test them. If everything's great, I wash off my jars. I label them with what's in it, with the date, and it goes on the shelf. It's that easy. That's how simple it is to can carrots. Now, if you didn't grow your carrots, you can still can them. You can go to the store, get you some good organic carrots, and go to town. And you can can your own carrots if you're wanting a way to put some on your shelf. Especially if you're trying to learn. That's a great way to learn, and you don't have to produce everything. So anyway, I hope that this encouraged you. So see, guys, this is letting the steam, it's coming out. This is the venting process that if you had a stovetop canner would be happening. As you can see, now we're down to E7, and all you do is once you hit that, it hits that E0, that's when it's not an error. This is just how this canner works. When it says E0, you turn it to airtight, and it does everything else for you. And it's so foolproof. It's wonderful. So anyway, I just wanted to show you how that looks. You can see the amount of steam. You'll get more steam once it hits the airtight. So don't be surprised by that. That's one of the reasons I do it here. I do not have a cabinet above that steam. I have my fan on my vent hood going. And I think it kind of helps. I could probably turn it. That's what I've done before, is I've turned it. I'm not going to do it now because it's going. And I have my windows open. I'm not too worried about it. But I have tilted it more so that the steam was going more to the vent. But this is one thing the manufacturer says, is you do not want this canner going under a cabinet, because it will damage the wood or the paint or whatever on your cabinet. So if you want to have a kind of an open place, you can do that. So anyway, see, now we're down to E6. I just wanted to show you that. So if you get this canner and you're walking through the process and you're like, oh no, what did I do? You didn't do anything wrong. This is how it goes. Okay guys, it just beeped. So my carrots have beeped. And once you see the off has come on, the instructions say you are to unplug your canner, and you just leave it alone. You let it sit for an hour, and at that point you can take your you can open it up. I typically still will leave my stuff in there for a little bit, before I remove it, so it can cool down just a bit. Anyway, I hope that this encouraged you. I hope that this took some of the intimidation out. I will show you what they look like when they come out. I'll probably put a picture at the end so you can see. And this is a great first canning project. This one, bone broth, all those kinds of things are just super easy to get started and learning how to pressure can. I have some seeds I've got to go get in the ground because my nasturtiums, oops, have been soaking in water and for more than 24 hours. So I need to get those in my garden bed and so that I don't rot them. So anyway, with that, I'll let you go and I will see you next time. Bye.